they don't experience nature, they don't breathe properly, they don't exercise. All of these things have an effect on us. And so a lot of people are actually very depressed simply because they're not taking care of their bodies. There's a lot of people sick for that reason. And that's why it's very important in our tradition to take care of the body. The Prophet ﷺ, in fact, in Imam Dhahabi's Tibb al-Nabawi, he says that in one riwayah, it said that his kitchen was like an apothecary because he had so many herbs and different things brewing at different times. And Aisha was asked, how did you learn knowledge of medicine? Her cousin asked her, how did you learn this knowledge of medicine so adeptly? And she said, I used to listen to the conversations of the Prophet ﷺ with the physicians. And we have an amazing hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, a man came to him and complained of his chest. And the Prophet put his hand on his chest and he said, Innaka maf'ud, you've got some heart disease. And he said, Ilhaq bil harith al-karada, go to al-harith al-karada because innahu yatatabbab, because he's a physician. So that's an example of the Prophet doing literally like a diagnostic scanning with his hand, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then giving a reference, referring him to a specialist. Amazing hadith. But Aisha radiallahu anha knew medicine very well. And the Prophet ﷺ gave us very profound medical advice. And there are hadiths indicating that people should move. Sayyidina Umar said, قِلَّةُ الْحَرَكَةِ تَعْقِلُ الْبَدَنِ. Not moving enough will create blockage in the body. And he said also, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu said, لا ترموا النخالة فإنها من الطعام. Don't throw the bran away, the fiber, because it's part of the food. Refined food, in other words. What people eat today, they're sick. We get all these diseases that they don't need. The Prophet ﷺ said one of the signs of the end of time is, he said, تظهر البواسير. You will see hemorrhoids widespread. Why? That's not a disease of places where people move a lot. It's a disease of stagnation, where people are sitting too much, where they're not actually moving, they're not actually involved. So it's very important to remember those things, that this is part of being well in your body. Your body has rights over you. Inna libadinika alayka haqq. Your body has a right over you, to take care of it, to exercise it. And it should last, if you take care of it. People, it's amazing, like people, they eat terribly, they never exercise, and then they get a disease that is a result of their lifestyle, and then qadarullah ma sha'an fa'al. Mashallah. Ibtila. This is the way they look at it. This is ibtila from God. No, it's an ibtila from your lifestyle. The way that you have lived has resulted in this. Don't blame God. Right? Take care of yourself. And then if you're doing all the things that you should be doing and you still get that, then that's a ibtila. But if you're not taking care of yourself, don't blame anybody but yourself. So then he says, now this is really important because we're getting to the فإن قلت فصل لي علم طريق الآخرة تفصيلا. Clarify to me in detail, what is this path of the akhirah that you're talking about? فَعْلَمْ أَنُّهُ قِسْمًا. Know that it has two categories. علم مكاشفة وعلم معاملة. In the translation, he interprets it as the knowledge of revelation, which is not that. It's the knowledge of unveiling or inspiration that comes. Mukashafa is the unveilings that occur to the heart, that these are tajalliyat. And the second is ilm mu'amala. So the first category, ilm al-mukashafa, is the knowledge of the inward, ilm al-batin. It's the knowledge of the inward. وَذَلِكَ غَايَةَ الْعُلُومِ. This is really the aim and purpose of all knowledges. All sciences, the aim and purpose of them is to understand the inward realities. These are the first causes. This is what true understanding is, to understand the first causes behind things. And the first causes are never outward. They're metaphysical truths that are behind the outward. And then he says, some of the arifin, some of these people of this knowledge of ma'rifah, they say, "Man lam yakun lahu nasibun min hadha al-ilm, akhafu alayhi su' al-khatima." If you don't have a portion of this knowledge, I fear for you a bad ending in your life. So what does he say about this? Very interesting. وَقَالَ آخِرُ, he says, وَأَدْنَى نَصِيبٌ مِنْهُ التَّصْدِيقُ بِهِ وَتَسْلِيمُهُ لِأَهْلِهِ. The least portion of this knowledge is that you believe in it and its people. That there's people that have this knowledge. If you reject the awliya, right? Bad sign. أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. There are maratib, degrees of wilaya. There are degrees of wilaya. And wilaya is the special providence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given His entire creation providential care. All of His creation has providential care. Obviously, free will has an effect. And so you see a lot of evil and you see these horrible things. But it's not a sign that Allah's providential care isn't there. No, His providential care is there. That providential care, though, has degrees. And if you want more articulation of this, you can look at an essay that I wrote in the Dua al-Nasiri about that Allah's love is for His entire creation. His love is for the whole of creation. And this is from Amir Abdul Qadir al-Jazairi, who relates it to other scholars' understandings. This idea that God hates some of His creation, no. He has a mahabba amma and then a mahabba khasa. So when you see verses like, "Inna Allah la yuhibbu al-zalimin," Allah doesn't love the oppressors. They don't get His mahabba khasa. They get the mahabba amma. There's bughd, because Allah hates, but not in you can't look at it in an anthropomorphic way, like it's emotion. You know, that God's petulant and that He has love like we have love. That's a big mistake to do that. But Allah has created a creation out of His rahmah. And so to deny that rahmah, no. Rahmati wasi'at kulla shay. My mercy encompasses all things. And rahmah is from mahabba. Allah's mahabba encompasses all things. But that specific love is for the people of wilaya, and that love intensifies with the intensity of the wilaya. And so as